catch all the highlights and the build-up to this year's National Science and Maths Quiz. Nancy Jiradosi and Maxwell Agbagba. The excitement is right here on JoyNews. Don't miss it. But this Sunday is Father's Day. It's a celebration honoring fathers and celebrating fatherhood, paternal bonds, and the influence of fathers in society. For us here on the AM show, we're dedicating parts of today's show to have a conversation on men's health. It's all in the spirit and honor of fathers. So here's Dr. Joseph Akama, who will help us with some tips to help the men stay healthy. We need them to be healthy, absolutely. He's head of cardiology department at the University of, is it the, Echo Roads, University of Kolebu? Okay, University of Ghana. Happy Father's Day in advance. Is appropriate?
Well, it is.
Yeah.
It should be like a week.
It should be a week.
Celebrating a week. And
we're doing 2 days. We're doing today and tomorrow.
Tomorrow, okay. Yeah. That's good for Joy.
What does Father's Day mean to you?
Well, I think it's a day fathers get recognized for once, because we are the underdogs.
Yeah.
When it comes to family, we do all the heavy duty work, and the mothers take credit. But we love them. We love our wives. So I think once in a year, if children and our wives will recognize us, the public will recognize us. Yeah. That's a good thing.
Have you been asked yet what you want to do on Sunday?
Well, sometimes they keep it secret.
Okay.
They keep it secret.
Okay.
But I already told them what I want to do.
Okay.
I want to go and watch a movie. I haven't watched a movie in a long time.
Oh, so you want them to take you?
Take me to a movie house.
That's not a hard thing to do.
No,
yeah,
maybe.
That should be easy. With some popcorn and ice cream.
Exactly.
Yeah. Nice. One of our sister stations, Asempa FM, is hosting fathers here at our forecourt. So if you have the opportunity, you can just pop up
Sunday.
On Sunday. They do this every Father's Day.
Yeah. I think it's an important day, just like Mother's Day. Yeah. But we give more credit to women for making us who we are. Yeah. So Sunday we also get some pampering.
Yeah. So somebody said yesterday, and it is so true. When it comes to fathers, we try to make the differentiation and we say responsible fathers. But when it comes to mothers, nobody talks about responsible mothers. We just simply say mothers. And that's not fair. We're talking Father's Day, irrespective. Okay, so we're excited. We're learning how to handle stress and take time off work to spend time with loved ones. That's one of your first tips for us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This is very important. This is very important. Why am I saying so? Because the man of the house, or even the man in the family, or the man in the country, irrespective of whether married or not married, contributes heavily to the national cake. And by so doing, he devotes all his time and energy, sometimes to the disadvantage of his health. And so we end up by getting stressed. We end up by getting burned out. Burned out means you're overdoing things and you just keep on doing. You get exhausted, but you keep on doing it because you have to earn an income. And then the other thing that we haven't talked much about is depression. So all of this downs on the man. And then suddenly he's depressed. But men are men. We don't express ourselves like a lot of other people. Women have a way of expressing themselves. They can tell you immediately they're not feeling well, they're depressed, they become sad. Men, we act differently. When we're depressed, we can become aggressive, we can become angry and start shouting. We cannot sleep, and then we can decide that we just stay at work and work like donkeys. And that can be a sign of depression. So stress, burnout is what we should be talking about, number one, which we don't really recognize. And then try to help your man. If you notice that he's getting too angry, don't say that why is he acting out this? Maybe he's depressed. Maybe there's something bothering him. Take a break, take him out. Because, at the middle age crisis, the woman's focus is on who? The children. And then the man is left alone. And he's a baby too. So now he's alone and the woman is focusing on the children. He can easily be isolated. And then his emotional care is not really optimized.
Can a man be also stressed because he's not getting sex? either at all or enough of it?
Oh, yes. Oh, men, I want to say we, yes, well, I'm a man. We like sex, like women, but men are made to procreate. So I was talking on Adum FM the other day, and I said, a man would like to have sex every day. Every day. Women, fortunately, God gives you a break during the menstrual period. But men can do it every day. 3 times a day he can do it.
Really?
And that is what a man was made for. But because we have to take care of business, we have to take care of work, and we get tired. So we can't do it every day. So I said, if you're tired, don't push it. Maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because the woman is also tired. But ideally, men will like it every day.
Huh?
Yes.
Okay, that's another, the full topic will be another day.
Yes.
For now, we're talking about health tips for men ahead of Father's Day. Special dedication to all fathers. Please listen and listen carefully, and to the women as well. So what you hear the doctor say, you try to help your man so that they can handle the situation. We're going to activate the phone lines a bit later on. So what's our second tip?
Well, our second tip should be about how to, let me just make sure my list is coming up.
Okay.
The avoiding a lot of dietary indiscretion.
Okay.
Okay, dietary indiscretion. And so if you have a situation where most of your diet is pure Ghanaian, that meaning a lot of fatty food, a lot of red meat, a lot of carbohydrate, which most of us do, then you are in for trouble.
Okay.
We have to balance it. We have to balance it with some amount of fruits, a lot of vegetables. That way you can get the benefits.
Okay.
Why am I stressing on fat and red meat? Fat and red meat means you're predisposing yourself to certain conditions, especially cancer of the prostate, other forms of cancer, cancer of the colon, high blood pressure, cholesterol buildup. So red meat contains a lot of stuff that we don't need in our body.
Okay.
Fatty food contains a lot of things we don't need in the body. So especially animal fat. So if we can avoid them and balance it with increased fruit intake and vegetable, that will help a lot.
So when we talk about fruits, let's be specific because we're talking to men.
Yes.
What should it? Is it banana, watermelon?
I think any fruit that you like. Because some people don't like certain types of fruit. But ideally, a balanced bowl of tiny amounts of each of them.
Okay.
So if you don't like the pineapple, you pick the apple, or you pick the mango, you pick the banana. But whatever it is, eat enough fruits per day.
Okay.
Enough vegetables. Fortunately, we have some of our soups that has vegetables in it. Don't let them overcook it. Okay. I have a gentleman who's in Tamale who likes a lot of cabbage and vegetables. He's changed his diet.
Okay.
Alaji Montia. And you should see him. He's graceful. He's doing very well. His diet is strict. No red meat. And he's doing very well. So you don't miss anything.
Okay.
You don't miss anything by changing your diet.
Okay. So more fruits and vegetables to the men. Part of the tips that we're sharing ahead of Father's Day. Let's go to tip number 3.
Tip number 3. Let me refer back to my list. We have, let me see. Yep. Exercise daily. Aiming for 30 minutes per day, at least. Why is exercise important? Most of the conditions that confront men are because we do not exercise. So physical inactivity underlines a lot of the conditions that we men and women also encounter. So high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, heart conditions, heart attack, stroke. All of you can trace them to physical inactivity. Okay. So people said, oh, our great-grandfathers used to be fit and very active because they were walking all the time. But now we ride motorbikes, we drive in cars. So physical inactivity is a big problem. It leads to arthritis, it leads to obesity, waist pain, sexual dysfunction, and depression. So exercise, on the other hand, gives you a lot of boom. Okay. It helps treat all the conditions that we'll mention. Heart attacks, it can help prevent it. High cholesterol brings it down. Obesity brings it down. Sexual life improves it. depression, improves your depression. And so there is a lot of bang to get from exercising.
Okay. When you talk about exercising, do you only mean go to the gym?
No, not necessarily, because sometimes you have to get in the mood before you join a gym. Most of us join the gym company makes money, and then you don't make anything out of it because you fail to go and they've made their money. So what I always say is that hit the road, get some good gym shoes, walking shoes, kambu, which we call commonly, and start walking. You don't have to run, you don't have to weight lift, just walk. At least 30 minutes a day.
Okay.
You can increase it to 1 hour if you want to lose weight. But 30 minutes, that comes about at least 150 minutes per week. That gives a lot of activity.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So exercise daily, aiming for at least 30 minutes per day. Tip number 3. Tip number 4, please.
Okay. So let me wait for the, begin a weight loss program if you are overweight and cut back the amount of salt in your diet. So this is a loaded one. But the weight loss program is critical. A lot of us start getting pot belly by the age of 40. Actually, I'm getting people who are 30 who start getting pot belly.
I was going to draw your attention to that.
Yes. So pot belly is a harbinger for a lot of disaster in the future.
What causes that? Is it because you're drinking too much beer or what?
There's no one single factor for weight. It's a lot of things. Physical inactivity, drinking too much beer, depression, stress. Stress releases a lot of bad hormones called the stress hormones, like cortisol, adrenaline, which actually help you build up fat. And then it can predispose you to diabetes. Our diet is so rich now in carbohydrate. So you eat a bowl of banku with a lot of fish or chicken or meat, and you load it yourself. Now, the body in its own mind wants to save some of it for later, for lean season. But you never get a lean season. So you're just building up.
Because you're always eating. So is that what gives the pot belly too?
Yes, the same thing. But the pot belly mainly comes from fat inside the abdomen.
Okay.
Some on the wall, but most of it is inside the abdomen, which is called visceral fat. Visceral fat is not good at all. So visceral fat is the fat around the intestines, covering the intestines, around the liver, inside the liver, around the heart. This portends bad cardiovascular conditions. That means that if you have a lot of visceral fat, your chances of getting heart attack, getting high blood pressure, getting stroke, goes tremendously up. Okay. Or getting prostate cancer and then bowel cancer goes really up. Diabetes really up.
Is there a point where you get to where you can't do anything about the weights?
Well, I don't think so. You see on TV when 600-pounders, in American programs, they lose weight all the way down, the skin becomes flabby. There's nothing like that. It's just that they cannot control themselves. The problem is self-discipline.
Okay.
People ask me how I'm skinny. I'm not self-disciplined because I don't eat. I work so much, I don't eat. But if I had a chance, I would eat and then grow a little bit chubby. But some people, on the other hand, eat too much. So they go and order 2 balls of banku and then add another one. Then immediately after that, they drink 2 bottles of beer. That is just lunch. Dinner, they repeat the same. So this is self-discipline. So if you can't self-contain and then cut back, then you're going to always complain, oh, I'm getting hungry. Hunger will not kill you.
Okay.
Hunger will not kill you. Jesus did it. How many days?
Sometimes you feel like your body is shaking.
Yes.
When you're really hungry.
Yes, but that is when the sugar is going down. But it wouldn't really kill you. It is a warning that get something. But don't go and get a bucket of orange juice. Get something small, eat some crackers, or a fruit. That's the time you should eat the fruit.
Okay.
So I advise men to actually change the diet pattern. Instead of eating heavy at night, avoid eating heavy at night.
Okay.
Eat heavy in the morning, lunch heavy, then dinner, you cut it down.
Okay.
The reason is if you eat breakfast, you're going to burn it. If you eat lunch, you're going to burn it. Dinner, you're likely not to burn it. Yes.
Okay. Let's touch on the importance of salt.
Salt. Salt goes with our diet. That's why I put them together. So salt means high blood pressure. Definitely.
That's it?
Yes. Salt means high blood pressure. Salt means stroke. Salt means impotence. Salt means heart conditions. Salt means you're going to get a heart attack. That is what it means.
But it's impossible to do without salts.
Don't say that.
Food is like tasteless without it.
No. Ask the people who don't eat salt, and they'll tell you.
At all.
At all. And they wouldn't like salt at all. Well, I'll confess, I eat salt, okay? But I'm trying to cut down.
Okay.
But I have patients who say they will not go back to salt.
Really?
Because the food tastes natural and it's really good.
Okay, so I guess because it's been part of me the whole time,
yes,
it's impossible to imagine a meal, you know, like a well-cooked food without salt.
Yes, a meal without salt is nauseating. Sometimes it can give you a lot of bads, but you do it gradually.
Okay.
So you start cutting back down till the point where you can just stop.
Okay.
So I don't tell people to stop immediately.
Okay.
You cut down. And Ghana, when we talk about 2 grams, it doesn't mean anything. Just cut down. Don't add.
The measurement is here.
So just cut down.
There's no measuring cup.
Avoid adding the salt when you go to a restaurant.
Okay.
And then don't go to restaurants where they add all kinds of stuff to attract you, MSG and things like that. So the restaurants should try and help us.
Okay.
Yes.
Very, very important tip on the salt. Let's begin to cut down. Okay, are we on the last one? Patrick, take us to the last but one. Okay.
We still have.
All right.
Yes.
So we've got 2 more to go. This is one. We've got the last one to go.
So stop alcohol if you drink. Why is this so? Alcohol is the #1 problem confronting a lot of men. Young men get to socialize by drinking. Middle-aged men think now they are making it, they have to drink. And then the older men, they go and play golf and they have to drink. Now, all of these mean that you're going to be increasing your risk for a number of things. 1, stroke. Alcohol increases your risk for stroke. Alcohol increases your risk for having high blood pressure.
Even if you're exercising and doing all the other...
Yeah, it counteracts it.
Okay.
So, you see, all of these, you have to balance. You just don't do one thing and then hide in the gym and say, I'm exercising. Then you go out and drink 10 bottles of beer. No, you have to balance everything. And alcohol, it doesn't matter the kind, whether beer or hard liquor, is the same. The other thing about alcohol is that it destroys families. It destroys your brain. When we hear alcohol, we think about liver, but that's one of the least of the worries. It causes dementia. You forget. When you're 60, you start forgetting. And then you become confused. It ruins families. You become aggressive. And then it destroys your liver. So all of this gives us the chance to say alcohol should be stopped.
Okay. Is there a way to begin to stop? Because if you've been drinking for a long time, I guess it would be very difficult to say that I'm stopping.
Yes, so it's very difficult. Alcohol, the relapse rate is over 80%. Yeah, so it's very bad. You have to get counselor. If you think drinking is a problem, you have to go into counseling, see a psychologist. Fortunately, in Ghana, we have a lot of psychologists coming up now. There's an addiction clinic in Kolebu where they can see you in confidence. If you don't want to come there, there are private addiction clinics and psychologists who can give you. But most of us do binge drinking. So we will go around, we don't drink, then weekend. We kill like 12 bottles. Then we go away. That is also not good. That's also not good. Apart from the fact that you get an accident that night for driving. There are a lot of issues to that.
So the men who hide in the name of, oh, I am an occasional drinker, that's your advice right there. Stop it. That's what it is. Let's do the last tip.
Okay.
All right, so here we go with our last tip for today. Is all we're doing 5. So this is the 5th one.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is very important. I think if you don't listen to anything I'm going to talk about, you should think about this one.
Okay.
Why is it so? The problem with men is that we don't check our health. We do not check our health. So maybe this is today, take it from me that you're better at trying to find out what should I do to help myself. So I told Mama V before I came online that my gift for Father's Day, if you listen to me, is to hold your man, whether it's your dad, it's your husband, or your boyfriend, take him to a good doctor, like myself. Okay, I'm kidding. But there are a lot of good doctors around. Let them check him thoroughly, head to toe, give you lab requests, check his prostate, check his cholesterol, his sugar, and then tell you what those numbers are.
Okay.
Once you know these numbers, then you are certain that he will live long for you. Don't buy him an Apple phone or anything like that. Take him to the doctor, because the amount of money you're going to use for Apple phone will pay for all the health screening, an echo, exercise stress test. They'll give him the best gift. The next thing about men is that when they are diagnosed, they refuse to take the medicines. Okay? So one, they don't want to be checked. Two, they don't want to take the medicine. And that's a disaster. So when the man gets to 50 to 60, then things become really, really bad. So no wonder men die faster or at a higher rate than women. So on the average, men have a poorer prognosis compared to women. Even from childhood, men die more than women. And when we get old, men die more than women. And the common conditions that kill men: one, the depression I talked about; two, heart attacks, strokes, prostate cancer. Okay, all of these are preventable. Stroke. There are a lot of young men with stroke in Ghana. That is really mind-boggling. So that is one of our biggest challenges. Another one that we are seeing is coronary artery disease that leads to heart attack. So our youngest person at Kolebu who had a heart attack was 32 years old. So we're getting people at that young age having conditions. A young man came in 43. He needed to have bypass surgery, but we're able to help him. We open up the arteries for him. So we shouldn't take it light at all by screening. But it takes an average of 10 to 20 years to build these conditions. So by the time you're getting the heart attack, it didn't just happen overnight. It took 10 years back. So assuming you checked and your cholesterol is high, you take action. You might not take medicine, but you take action, watch what you're eating.
Yeah, you exercise.
Exercise. Then by the time you're 40, you're still fine. By the time you're 60, you retire gracefully.
Yeah.
Prostate cancer is, we can't tell exactly what causes it, but blacks are at a very high risk. And the younger you are, the worse the prognosis. Meaning, if I'm diagnosed with prostate cancer, a 70-year-old is diagnosed with prostate cancer, he will live longer than I would.
Why is that?
Because I have a lot of androgens. The androgen feeds the cancer and grows very fast. The older gentleman has got low androgen, so the prostate cancer doesn't grow that much.
Interesting.
And the prostate cancer can be cured if you get it very early. Can be cured.
But the issue is a lot of men are walking around not even knowing
not checking.
that they have the
And it's a simple test. It's a blood test. They check your prostate. Sometimes we use a finger exam or with an ultrasound. If you don't want to be violated, let them use an ultrasound. They check the size of the prostate. And then you do it annually.
Okay.
If you are at a higher risk, start at 30.
Okay.
Assuming your father had it, an early age, start at 30.
Okay.
If not, by 40 every year, check. So mothers and daughters, please tell your husbands and fathers, even the men who have their fathers, let them check.
Okay, fascinating stuff. But
Yes.
the little experience that I have, even if you booked the doctor for him, he may not go. So it's best to carry him along.
And just like how he did when you're young. When you're young, he took you to the hospital.
Yeah.
So now is the time to hold him and take him to the hospital.
Yeah, good advice. Let's give you the opportunity. So join us 0302-211-6910. 0302-211-6910. That's the number to call if you want a doctor's advice from the tips that we've given so far. 5 tips in all in the spirit of Father's Day. We're trying to help you out. One of the things that Doc has said you can do, you can give us a gift, a perfect Father's Day gift, which is really incredible, is to book a doctor's appointment so that they can go through these checks.
Exactly.
PSA.
Yep.
PSA is which one again?
Prostate specific antigen.
Okay.
That's for the prostate cancer.
Okay.
When it's high, the doctor will interpret it. So not all high PSA means prostate cancer. So if it is high, it could be that the prostate is just big. So Men, we have problem with our waterworks when we're getting old, meaning the prostate can get big and block the urine from flowing,
Okay.
or it can get into cancer. So when it's high, the doctor should be able to interpret it. If it's really high, they'll do a biopsy. Then the cholesterol level should be checked regularly. At the appropriate level, depending on the person's risk, we'll start treatment. Sugar level should be checked. Ideally, your sugar shouldn't go more than 6 when you haven't eaten.
Okay.
Yeah. So if it's more than 6, start thinking, am I diabetic or pre-diabetic? Again, you don't have to start medications. And then the kidney function is something that we have to really emphasize.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go to the phone lines now. We've got Ernest joining us. Ernest is around the Elubo border. Good morning to you, Ernest. Hello, Ernest. Hi, Ernest. Okay, good morning. Thank you for calling. Let's hear you, please.
Good morning to Doc in the studio.
Morning.
Your program is very interesting and very educative.
Thank you.
We like the program very much. But I want to talk about some of the drinks, the normal advertised on the TV. Some are saying they are good for sexual, they are good for this and this. But I don't know. I want Doc to clarify on some of those issues too.
Some of the adverts that you hear?
Yeah, sometimes
Okay.
they say after GB test and what B test.
I get it.
For this and that. And FDA normally approve some of those things. Meanwhile, they have some harmful effects on our body. I want Doc to clarify.
I get what you're saying, but I'm afraid we don't have the capacity to do that right now. So let's stick to what we are doing.
Yes.
As for the good thing is, you have a way of checking because you mentioned FDA. So let's stick to that. Let's speak to Emmanuel Golari in Tamale. Hello, Emmanuel. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, Emmanuel. I hope you're well.
Doing very well.
Great. Let's hear you.
Yes. Hoping that we celebrate Father's Day tomorrow next coming Sunday.
Yeah.
Some of us have become fathers and mothers at the same time for over 3 years now.
Oh,
Okay.
dear. Sorry.
All right. So how are you managing it? How is it like?
It's not been easy. You have to play the role of a mother, the father at the same time. You know, caring for that. You know.
It is well.
It's a responsibility that God has done on us. And we have to take it as it is.
You know, God doesn't give you anything that you can handle, right? So the fact that you are still surviving means that it is well. Any specific question on what we are discussing?
Yeah, I think I was at Kozebu for one of the areas he mentioned, and when I took care of my diet and my movements, I think I have had a very tremendous thing, and it has totally gone, I would say. And I listened to him carefully that we have to take our diet seriously, especially the fruit and the vegetables. That is, I usually would take fruit without, that is the carbohydrate food and vegetables or fruit attached to it. So I think it's good. I don't even take meat at all. From their good advice, I don't even take red meat at all. And I'm encouraging men and other people that it is good we avoid these things and use family averagely or
Okay. All right. That's some testimony right there. Thank you very much for sharing, Emmanuel Golari in Tamale, and all the best with combining motherhood and fatherhood together. We're proud of you. Roger, your boy is in Sonyai. Good morning, Roger.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Let's hear you.
Yes, I want to find out from Doc, how old should a man be before he checks his prostate level?
Okay. Doc?
Yes. So I mentioned it earlier, Mr. Yeboah. If you have a family history of prostate cancer in Ghana, being a Ghanaian, meaning we're black, our risk is very high. So if you have family history of prostate cancer, check it early, from 30 years onwards.
Okay.
But the textbook and the recommendations are 40 years onwards. You should check. So most often we start from 40 years. And then it is nice to check the level once a year. When you notice that it begins to go up, you check it sooner.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then always interpret it with the doctor, discuss with the doctor.
Okay. Michael is in Alubo. Good morning, Michael. Thank you for calling.
Good morning, Mama V. How are you?
Oh, very well, thank you. Thanks for asking. Let's hear you.
Happy Father's Day to the doctor.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Doc, I think sometimes it's not that the man doesn't want to go to hospital for this kind of screening. but it's also the kind of work that we do. So maybe if you could just use the opportunity to call on departments and organizations to organize this kind of screening at the website, so it can help us. And my question has to do with meat, this fresh meat. At what age do you have to stop taking fresh meat? At what age?
Okay.
Do you have to stop, or you reduce it? No.
Okay. Michael, thank you very much.
Thank you. Michael has given me the powers, but the power is vested in me. I call on all HR departments. I'm kidding. But I think Michael has hit the right point where, because of the work schedule, we are overburdened. But there are companies, HR has been developed so nicely these days to the point where the welfare of the worker has become some of their point. The problem is, even in companies where they offer free services, people still don't go. So, Michael, I agree with you to some extent, but to some extent, I think the behavior, the attitude has a lot to do with it. I know one particular company that has an excellent health facility, okay? But the people don't go. So I think it's a collaboration. Maybe the workers' union, instead of agitating for salary all the time, the workers' union should take it upon themselves to organize health talks, education, and then screening. And then when you're screened, they'll pick something, and then you can take it from there.
Okay.
So I think it's a collaboration. So change our attitude. HR departments emphasize on screening and management. And then the doctors who are assigned to the hospitals try and screen the patients, the workers regularly.
All right. There's a second leg to it. At what point should you stop taking meats?
Meat. Well, there is no age. There are vegetarians all over the world who have never eaten meat since they were born, and they're doing fine. So there's no age. The problem is, how much are you eating? So if you remember the last time we were here, I said the food in Ghana, what should you do? Should we just stop everything? And I said, no, eat what your mother gave you, but in moderation. So you can eat in moderation, cut down the red meat. But if you can, at any age, if you can stop it, it doesn't add much to you.
All right, let's speak to Vincent. Vincent is our last caller. Vincent, thanks for holding. Let's hear you.
Okay. Good morning, Mama V and Doctor.
Good morning.
Okay. I just want to find out, what do you call it, protein in the urine. If you have protein in the urine, I want to know the causes of the protein in the urine.
Okay. Thank you, Vincent, from Gasu. Protein should not be in the urine. Protein should not be in the urine. So if the laboratory is correct and there's protein in the urine, there are a number of things you think about. The first thing that comes to mind is to check your kidney function. There are other instances where there could be protein in the urine, like infection. If you have an infection, you could have protein in the urine. Okay. If you have a dirty sort of organ, and the urine is coming out, sometimes you can have things that come out with it. So normally the infection should be something you think about. But a lot of protein in the urine, number one thing is the kidney. The kidney is able to filter the protein and keep it back in your system. Once you start to leak protein, that means the kidney integrity is compromised. Doesn't mean that you need dialysis, but you need to be checked. And normally, they can give you medications that will help prevent the progression of the urinary, the kidney function. So first, cross-check, talk to the doctor, and then let him refer to a kidney doctor if you're not satisfied. Yes.
All right. Let's do one that came through for my very dear friend who is watching the show. She says, I usually record low readings when checking my BP. Most times I start experiencing headaches. I've been advised to increase my salt intake a bit or take coffee, or it's different in the case of men, she's asking.
Yes, so on the whole, women usually have lower blood pressure than men until they are around menopausal age, then they challenge men in terms of blood pressure readings. So young women, it's not uncommon to have low blood pressure. And 90 over 60 is very common among young teenagers and young girls, young women. The problem is if you have symptoms, that means that it's not just the normal routine.
Okay, so the headache will be a symptom.
It's a symptom.
Okay.
It's a symptom. But the headache could mean so many things. Headache is a symptom that can be interpreted in so many ways. So you can't blame just low blood pressure.
All right.
So it's counterintuitive to take salt when we're saying don't take salt. But in some instances, when the blood pressure is very low, when the person stands up, you feel dizzy, it's low, we advise you to take salt.
Okay.
But if your blood pressure is 90s always and you're having headache, don't blame it only on the low blood pressure.
Okay, so I guess if you're seeing one doctor, it will be good to get a second opinion
Exactly,
at this point.
especially a neurologist. There are a lot of neurologists at Kwelebu who are very good at interpreting headaches.
All right. Dr. Kama, as always, thank you very much for this special edition because of Father's Day.
Yes.
Enjoy Father's Day on Sunday.
Thank you.
And if the family is too busy, let me know.
Okay.
I could take you to the movies.
Oh, yeah. Then
if that's all you're asking for.
I hope somebody's listening. I better go to that movie house. Okay.
Okay, so that's our Healthy Thursday conversation because of Father's Day on Sunday. Watch out, we have another conversation tomorrow here on the AM show. And our sister station at Empire FM is organizing a Father's Day special hangout. And they're just asking you to come. You know, we'll give you goodies, we'll feed you, and then we'll give you gifts. And there will be good advice and fun right here. If you know where our office is in Kokomlemle, come by on Sunday. It's hello to Mr. Emmanuel Dennis Datsy of EcoBank, Barrier Branch. The message is for you to keep being the big brother that you are. It's from my producer, Echo Sam. So enjoy the day today, Mr. Emmanuel Dennis Datsy of EcoBank, Barrier Branch. Stay with us. We've got some show business. Becky is coming up with show business here on the AM show. Do stay.